Hello and welcome back to the Trainers of the World Tournament. I'm your host, DeltaTDS, and for Season 2's match number 9, we've got the Pokemon trainer Hilbert going up against the Galaxy team's leader, Kamado. From what we can see here, Hilbert's got the Mega Imbor. Kamado has the Heracross as the ace, and Hilbert has the Samurott as the ace. Once these trainers are ready, we can see who's going to take the lead for game number 1. I'm also curious to see how that Braviary is going to put in work. Hilbert sends out the Thundurus and Samurott. Kamado sends out the Braviary and Infernape. Infernape ain't liking what it's seeing out here. Probably not the Braviary either. But again, this is why I'm the one commentating and they are the ones doing the battles, not me. They've definitely got bigger brains than I do. Thunder is setting up the Rain Dance. Infernape doing a third with Fire Punch. Esperwing takes out the Thundurus, and Samurott with Icy Wind does 30% to Braviary and 10% to Infernape, dropping their speeds. In one turn, Kamado, despite the type disadvantage and the rain, manages to take out that Thundurus. Hilbert's going to send out the Caracosta. It's going to be loving this rain that Thundurus has set up. Both it and Samurott. I love sharing my force. Mach Punch is going to do over a quarter to Caracosta. Scald from the Samurott's going to take out the Infernape. Esperwing takes out the Caracosta. Every single turn so far, a Pokemon has fainted. Hilbert's sitting at 4 Pokemon. Kamado's sitting at 5. It's still anyone's game here. Kamado's sending out the Heracross. Hilbert's sending out the Masharna. This Braviary, despite the lowered speed, is still putting in so much work here. There's still 3 to 6 turns of rain left, depending on if that Thundurus held the damp rock or not. Heracross is going to Mega Evolve. Masharna protects against that bullet or pin missile. Samurott with the Air Slash nearly takes out the Heracross, and Hurricane does 2/3 to Samurott. This is the first turn that no Pokemon has fainted yet. Masharna helping hands the Samurott, gets a critical hit Vacuum Wave, brings Heracross down to 5% as Pin Missile takes out the Masharna. Hurricane takes out the Samurott, and Hilbert is down to his final 2 Pokemon. The Imbor isn't gonna like this rain a lot. Imbor's showing off that Supreme Overlord that definitely wasn't overlooked last game. Don't worry about it. We've got it fixed. Getting, I believe, a 40% boost on its attacks. Sucker Punch takes out the Braviary. Pin Missile with the crit. It's going to take out the Amoonguss. And the rain finally stops, showing that Thundurus did not, in fact, have the damp rock. Kamado is going to send out the Clefable, and it's Kamado's 4 Pokemon against Hilbert's 1 Imbor, Mega Imbor, with Supreme Overlord. Knockoff's going to do 17%. Moonblast is doing a quarter, lowering the special attack. Rock Slide's going to miss the Clefable but take out the Heracross. Kamado's sending out the Empoleon. Clefable's going to use Helping Hand. Scald takes out the Imbor, and Kamado with 3 Pokemon remaining takes game number 1. We saw the Mega Heracross. We saw nothing from the Torterra. We saw Braviary putting in a lot of work with Sheer Force and Esperwing, along with Hurricane to make use of the rain. And for Hilbert, we saw the Mega Imbor. We saw Thunderous with Prankster Rain Dance. All 4 moves from the Samurott. Nothing from the Amoonguss. And nothing from that Caracosta. And we are back on the field for game number 2. And we can already see quite a few new Pokemon. We see Kamado's brought the Drifblim, the Probopass, the Ursaluna, and the Snorlax. And we see from Hilbert's side, the only change is that Mienshao, no longer bringing the Thunderous. Once these trainers are ready, we can see if Kamado's going to take game number 2. Or if Hilbert's bringing this to a game number 3. We can also see that Ursaluna is Kamado's new ace. Meanwhile, I think Samurott is still Hilbert's ace. Kamado starting off with the Probopass and Snorlax. Hilbert starting off with the Musharna and Mienshao. Mienshao, a very popular choice to lead off with, especially with Fake Out, U-Turn, Regenerator. Assuming that's what this has. Going off my knowledge from Season 1. Snorlax is going to go... Snorlax is going Ghost. Dazzling Gleam's doing nearly 2/3 to Mienshao. Body Slam takes out the Mienshao as Musharna sets up the Trick Room. I believe Probopass and Snorlax will be able to make some use of this Trick Room. But I think Musharna's slower. Musharna is 1 point slower than Snorlax. Hilbert sends out the Samurott now. We saw it put in a lot of work last game. We saw Icy Wind, Air Slash, I believe Scald, and I'm not remembering the last move. Switching out the Musharna for Amoonguss, Probopass helping hands the Snorlax into Thunder Punch. Scald doing nearly 2/3 to Probopass as it uses that Citrus Berry to heal up. Samurott's sitting at just above 1/4 of its health, and the VGC Mushroom sits here watching it all happen. Probopass goes for Helping Hand. Amoonguss Rage Powers, taking 64 from that Body Slam. Scald's doing 61% to Probopass, and Snorlax is at 90% thanks to the leftovers. Still 5v6 right now. Vacuum Wave takes out the Probopass. Snorlax goes to sleep from Amoonguss' Spore. And it's now a 5v5. The playing field is even once again in terms of Pokemon. Kamado's gonna send out the Ursaluna now. I know there are several Ursalunas in this tournament, but this is the first one we are seeing right now, I think. Amoonguss is going to Spore the Ursaluna. Snorlax wakes up. Body Slam takes out the Amoonguss, getting hurt by the Rocky Helmet. Scald is doing 72% to Ursaluna while it stays asleep. It's now 4v5. Hilbert can still bring this back as he sends out the Musharna just as that Trick Room ends. Ursaluna is still asleep. Scald will take out the Ursaluna. Terra Blast is going to take out the Samurott as Musharna sets up another Trick Room. Hilbert sends out the Caracosta. Kamado sends out the Empoleon. We might be able to see something from this Caracosta. I'm not 100% sure, unless it gets knocked out again. Musharna's going for the Protect. Caracosta's going for the Curse. Terra Blast's gonna hit the Protect. Flesh Cannon's doing 44% to Caracosta, as Snorlax is nearly back at full health, thanks to those leftovers. Musharna is going to Helping Hand. the Caracosta. Rock Blast nearly takes out the Snorlax. Terra Blast does 77% to Musharna. Flash Cannon does 41% to Caracosta. Dang, even with -1 speed. No, that makes sense because it's a Trick Room. God, get it together, me. Vacuum Wave does take out that Caracosta. Psyshock takes out the Snorlax. And there's one turn of Trick Room left. Hilbert sends out Emboar as his last Pokemon. Kamado sends out Clefable with one more in the back. Hilbert might be able to still pull this through, though that Drifblim does look dire for Emboar, at least typing wise. You're getting the double helping hand. Flare Blitz takes out the Empoleon, and Clefable is not able to do anything this turn. Kamado sending out his last Pokemon, the Drifblim. 2v2 right now. Musharna sitting at 14%. Emboar sitting at 72% with a 40% increase of power to its moves. And this turn could be where everything is decided. Musharna's going to Terrasilize into Dark-type, helping hand the Emboar. Moonblast is going to take out the Musharna. Rock Slide takes out the Drifblim and brings Clefable down to 53%. Both trainers are down to their last Pokemon. Moonblast does just under a quarter. Flare Blitz takes out the Clefable, and Hilbert takes game number 2, which means we are in fact going to a game number 3, right down to the wire. What an intense ending to that game. We didn't see anything from that Ursaluna. We saw the Terra Ghost on that Snorlax. We saw a Helping Hand on the Clefable, as well as the leftovers. The Citrus Berry on the Probopass. And from Hilbert's side, we saw the Amoonguss with the Rocky Helmet. All 4 moves, as well as the Terra Dark from the Musharna. We saw Curse and Rock Blast from Caracosta. And that's about it. We are back on the field for game number 3, and there is already a glaring difference here. Kamado's using the same team from last game, while Hilbert has brought his Zekrom and his Braviary. Once these trainers are ready, we can see who will be taking game number 3 and moving on to round 2. Kamado starting off with the Ursaluna and Drifblim. Hilbert starting off with the Braviary and Mienshao. We were only able to see the fake out from the Mienshao, and I don't even think it landed last game because of Terra Ghost Snorlax. Mienshao's going to U-turn into that Drifblim, switching out to the Samurott as Braviary sets up a Tailwind. Ursaluna goes for an Earthquake, doing 47% to Samurott as Drifblim sets up a Trick Room. Ursaluna reveals to have the Flame Orb, as well as most likely Guts. That Tailwind is going to be working against Hilbert for about as long as Trick Room is up. Switching out to the Musharna as Drifblim switches out to the Clefable. Ursaluna flings the Flame Orb at Braviary, burning it, while Braviary goes for Brave Bird, only doing about 27% to Ursaluna. I'm surprised a bear can fling, or like throw something, but this is a franchise about magical creatures, so anything could happen. Clefable with the Helping Hand. High Horsepower takes out the Musharna. Brave Bird with the crit does 70% to Clefable. Braviary's left at 6%. Have you seen bears? Yes, but I've never seen one like fling a honeycomb before. Hilbert sends out the Mienshao now. I will admit, if I'm out in the woods and I see a bear and it just hurls a rock at me, you know, I'd probably make peace with life. I don't think I'm outrunning that. Fake Out's gonna take out the Ursaluna. Moonblast takes out, not take out the Ursaluna. Moonblast does take out the Braviary. Just tech. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have thought about that. Hilbert sends out the Samurott with 53% HP. It's currently 4v6 right now. Hilbert's at a bit of a disadvantage, but we saw him bring it back last game. He's gone through a quarter to Clefable. Earthquake takes out both Clefable and Samurott, as well as brings Mienshao down to the Sash as it goes for U-turn. Switching out to Zekrom. Trick Room ends, and Kamado sends out Drifloon as Hilbert sends back out that Mienshao. Healed up thanks to that Regenerator ability. Fake Out's doing 9%. Bolt Strike takes out the Drifloon. Zekrom will take a quarter of damage thanks to that Aftermath ability. But suddenly it's 3v4 right now. Kamado sends out the Snorlax. Zekrom's going to Terrasilize into Flying. Snorlax Terrasilizes into Ghost. Drain Punch takes out the Ursaluna as Zekrom sets up a Dragon Dance. Snorlax goes for the Terra Blast, taking out the Mienshao. And Emboar's getting sent out while Kamado sends out the Empoleon. This Hilbert side is kind of terrifying right now. Mega Emboar with a Zekrom, especially with Supreme Overlord and a Dragon Dance. We'll see if Kamado can take this game number 3. Sucker Punch fails. Bolt Strike takes out the Empoleon, while Snorlax curses the Zekrom, putting it on a, I think, 3-turn timer. Kamado sends out his final Pokemon, that Probopass. Probopass helping hands the Snorlax. Bolt Strike misses the Snorlax. Close Combat takes Probopass down to the Sturdy, activating that Citrus Berry. Thunder Punch takes out the Zekrom with the critical hits. And it's all down to Emboar once again. What an insane turn from Kamado. That miss probably decided the game. Not 100% sure, but there's a good chance. I think that's a 5% chance to miss, isn't it? Like 5 or 10. Probopass with the Helping Hand. Flare Blitz takes out the Probopass. Body Slam takes out the Emboar. And Kamado, with one Pokemon remaining, takes game number 3. Which means he wins match number 8 or 9. I forget which one this is. He will be moving on to round 2, where he will be facing off against Cassidy. Who the hell's Cassidy? Cassidy from Team Rocket, of course. Who wouldn't know that? In match 73 of round 2. Join us tomorrow where we will be seeing another Unova trainer, Rosa, taking on the Pearl Clan leader, Irida. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, take care.